Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who has been rocking with us here tonight on the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. As I mentioned to you guys in the previous segment, we're happy and honored and proud to bring to you our next special guest on the show. She is the founder and CEO of the Property Adjustment Specialist. She is a published author of the book You're an Adjuster, Now What? We're definitely honored and proud to have our sister Charleen Brown on the live line of Legacy Internet Radio. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Marcus?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us tonight. We appreciate your presence here. As a business owner, as a founder and a CEO, I know that there's a story that led to you being able to do that. So let's talk about it. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about Charleen Brown.
Okay, well, a little bit about me. I have friends who say I do not have the capacity to tell short stories, but I'm going to let them know that I do. I was actually born in St. Louis, Missouri. Props to St. Louis, whoop whoop. And when I was a baby, my parents actually moved to Los Angeles, California, and I was pretty much raised there till I was about 14, right before high school, and then they moved back to St. Louis. So I finished up high school in St. Louis, and then decided that I did not want to be too far from my family, but I did want to be away from them, and that's when I decided to pursue my political science degree at the University of Missouri, Columbia, Mizzou. And I partied a little bit too hard, so I had to transfer to University of Missouri, St. Louis, and that's where I graduated and finished everything out. After that, I ended up working for the 2004 Bush versus Kerry campaign, and that was cool. And I got a little bit of attention from our partnership with a local union organization. And from there, I was recruited to be a union organizer with the AFL-CIO. From there, I ended up moving to Austin, Texas, where I was working for the Texas State Employees Union. Lovely union for anybody who lives in Texas. I know that Texas and unions don't mix, but you should try it. And and then once I did that, I liked my job, but I really just wanted more. I've always been that type of person who's always wanted just a little bit more. Not to say that I'm not content, but just always wanting to take myself to the next level. And from there, when back in 2005, when Hurricane Katrina affected those southern states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Atlanta, Florida, I ended up getting in with that, and that's how I started with becoming an independent insurance claims adjuster for homeowners insurance. So that's really the short version of what made Charleen for now.
Right.
There was a few things, trials and tribulations in between, which I'm sure everybody has, but hey, it makes you stronger, it makes you better, so no big deal.
No, I can dig it. I can dig it when I want to kind of get into the business that you founded, the Property Adjustment Specialist. Tell us a little bit about what went into the planning. You founded it in 2011. What was going on with you in the years before that, and how you ended up getting to the point where you said, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. Tell us about that process.
Well, when I first started as an adjuster, I was working homeowners claims, and I actually started off, I did not have any previous experience in claims, in insurance, or even in construction. And so I just kind of started off as a novice adjuster, just kind of taking assignments where I could, where anybody would, let me work for them. And as an independent adjuster, what you do is you work for different insurance carriers. I won't name anybody, but I can work for a variety of different major insurance carriers. And so from there, I just kind of looked up one day, and I was about 2011, I was about 5-6 years in. And actually where the book came from was first, and that's what came first, actually, before the business technically was the book, because what happened was I have a mentor that I kind of bogarted, Lorenzo Jackson of the Property Adjusting Academy. Hey, Lorenzo.
Shout out to Lorenzo.
Again. And what happened was Lorenzo kind of came to me, and he noticed that I was doing really good I had evolved to that point from being a novice adjuster to being a trainer, to being a file examiner, where I would look over the adjuster's files, prior to them sending them up for approval. I had also been what they call a team lead, where I had a team of adjusters, about 6, 7 adjusters, even at one point 13 adjusters up under me. And he had been in the industry for like over 20 years. And so he said, man, you're a really good trainer. Have you ever thought about, writing a book about being an adjuster? I said, no, I never thought about it, but yeah, I'll give it a try. Sure, let's go for it. And that's really where it started, and that's where You're an Adjuster Now What came from, which is, of course, now available on BarnesandNobles.com and Amazon.com. And that's really where it all began. And then from there, what I did after that is my mother is also an adjuster, and she got in with Katrina, as I did as well. And her name is Deborah Johnson. And so I talked to her, and I said, you know what, maybe we should have our own training firm. And so we kind of talked about it, and we thought, well, what do we start off with? Well, when we were doing Hurricane Katrina, when we came in, we started off actually in what they call the personal property claims department. And that's basically when you take the roof off of a house, you turn the house upside down, everything that falls out for the most part, all that furniture, your clothing, and home furnishings, that is what they consider personal property, or what they call contents. And so we thought about it, and she had became an expert doing personal property with another carrier on her end. I had gotten really good with my experience, and so as a result, we pretty much collaborated between her being in St. Louis and me being in Arlington, Texas. We pretty much collaborated together to create a curriculum for a personal property contents course for existing adjusters. And we made sure that we followed all the rules. We got with the Texas Department of Insurance, became certified providers, and our classes are all registered with the Texas Department of Insurance, and we even offer continuing education credits for them as well. And so that's really where it all came from. Fast forwarding to the future, now what we do, we offer the personal property class. We've also started a policy interpretation class. And now we even offer classes, and we actually license brand new people who want to be adjusters. We actually do a class for that as well. And so we're really, really evolving, because what I really realized more than anything was that this is a really great field to get into, but not a lot of people know about it.
Right. Now, I had mentioned to you earlier, I didn't get into specifics, but I know a little bit about the adjusting world. So, I know how dynamic you have to be a part of it, especially when you start talking about the training and getting everybody involved with regards to it that wants to be involved with regards to it. Tell me how you feel about the customer aspect. I know when we kind of did our pre-chat earlier, you're very passionate about making sure that the customers got everything that they needed. Tell the listeners a little bit about that.
That's really what really motivated me more than anything as to why I thought a training firm was needed to touch on what we're touching on, is because when you first get your adjuster's license, you get kind of the basics, and you get a lot of that training in regards to how to take care of the structure of a home, what we call, the structure side, which is, your walls, your floor, your roof. But a lot of adjusters did not know how to do personal property claims, and that's really where we just kind of recognized that there was a gap that needed to be filled, and that's basically what we've done. And where all of that stems from is the customers. I have always been a person I'm a people person. I'm a communicator. I'm a socializer. I would get straight A's in school, and then they would write on my little notes, she's a great student, she's really smart, but she talks too much.
You were that person.
I always get that. So this is right up my alley. But what I care about the most is it makes me feel so good when I do somebody's claim, and at the end of it, they went from, insurance isn't going to pay me anything, to, oh my goodness, Charleen, thank you so much for helping me. I don't know what I would have done had you not been my adjuster, yada, yada, yada. I love that. That's what I live for. And so that's really, when we're talking about the property adjustment specialist, or what we now call TPAS LLC, that's really where our true mission and our passion lies. We believe in, because really, let's think about it. This is what I tell my adjusters. The check that we get, the head of whoever X insurance is not the ones who are paying you that check. Guess where that money comes from? That money comes from premiums Who pays the premiums? The customers, the homeowners, the property owners, they pay the premiums. So you have to take care of them. If you don't take care of them and they walk away from X Insurance Co., guess what? That affects your job in the long run. So you need to take care of your people, because if you do not, then you're no good. What good are you? And that's what we care about. If I can be trained as an adjuster, if I can be trained better, to where my skill set is better, guess what? I'm a better claims adjuster. I'm better at doing my job. The homeowner goes away with a check that's like, yes, I can take this, I can give it to my contractor, and I can get myself back on track. I can get my home fixed, repaired, whatever, rebuilt, and I feel good about it. And guess what? As a customer, I'm going to say, yes, X Insurance Co. really took care of me. My adjuster cared about me. They did everything that they could. They seemed knowledgeable, that they read into everything into my policy, and they made sure that I got everything that I need. Now, here we are, fast forward, however many months later, my house is back in order, and it was like it never even happened. That's what you want when you're doing this job. It's just like with any other job, with any other industry. If you're not good, then, and you don't make sure that you train yourself to be better, then you're not going to be really good at your job, are you? You're going to be pretty crappy. Right? So, like, even with you, like, as a radio host, like, I'm sure there are things that you have to do to, like, kind of stay up on your game, right?
Yeah,
same
absolutely.
thing with insurance adjusting. It's the same thing here. If you're not on top of your game and you think that you can just keep getting by being, like, what I call the C or D student, then you're not going to go far in this industry. However, if you have a spirit of excellence and you really have a passion to help people, because that's really what it is. You are helping somebody. When you're on that phone with someone, they may be hollering and they may be screaming, but you know you didn't run over their dog or shoot their cat.
Right.
They're upset because of the situation that they're in. You cannot take it personally, and you still need to do everything that is within your power in order to get the job done. Now, your power can be limited if your knowledge is limited. So you got to make sure that you stay on top of your training. You got to make sure you stay on top of your skill set, because if you don't, you are no good at all. Then the checks that you write, you're no good. Because what good is that if you did such a crappy job, you just made the homeowner's life harder? That's not what you're there for. You're there to make their lives easy. That's why they paid their premium, so that when this situation happens, there's somebody there to stand in the place to help them get back on track, because they don't know what to do right now, and their whole life is turned upside down.
Right. And you know how Steppin with
That's
Marcus
what
J.
I love.
Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. We appreciate you listening to the show tonight. You're listening to our sister, Charleen Brown. She is the founder and CEO of the organization, the Property Adjustment Specialist, and she is also the author of the book. The book is called You're an Adjuster Now What? My apologies. You're an Adjuster Now What? You can find it on Barnes & Nobles, and you can also find it on Amazon.com, and so I implore you all to go and check out the book as well as the website. Give us the website for the business, by the way, since we're on the subject.
Yes, the website for the Property Adjustment Specialist, it is tpas.us.
tpas.us. Now, you mentioned a little while ago about the book, but I want to come back to the book here for just a moment. Real quick, tell me about, you know, you did the book before you did the business. Tell me, like, I mean, tell me about that. Like, what was it like to actually write a book? Did you write it alone? Did you have a partner to write the book?
I actually wrote the book alone, and nobody knew that I was writing it. That's the funny part about it. Like, I didn't tell anyone. I jumped into the unknown, and I was a little fearful, and I was a little scared, and so I didn't want to tell anybody about it. And what was happening, when you're an independent adjuster, I was actually on assignment when I wrote the book. And when you're independent, you can end up working, depending on what the situation, what type of claims are being generated, or what kind of storm has taken place. You can work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And what's so funny is that was the schedule that I was on when I wrote the book. I was working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Sunday. And so I would work every day and then come home every night and start writing the book. I did write it alone. And I'm actually bad at English, that's the funny part about the book. I am not good at English at all, but I made it work. And what my thing was is that I realized in being a team lead, and where the motivation came from after my mentor talked to me, is that you get that initial training, like you go and you get your license, and that's kind of really basic training. You're really just being trained to pass the test. And then, you go to orientation for whatever company you're about to work for, and then they teach you how they want the claim process once you're done with it. But you never really get taught, like, how to work the claim. And what I wanted to do was break that down in layman's terms, how to work a claim as an inside adjuster, the simplest form that I could make it, so that when you read it, you got it quick, and you were able to move on and actually produce more claims, make what we call closures. Every time you close a claim, that's a closure, and have more closures as a result. As independent adjusters, it's a good thing. You want as many closures as possible. You want them, but you want them closed for good quality close, not a bad, quick close.
Right.
And so what happened was, after I wrote the book, I had a good friend of mine who I had encouraged she was actually support staff for one of the companies I was working under, and I said, you should become an adjuster. I always encourage people to become adjusters. I just think it's just an awesome job. And I told her, you should do it. And I told a couple of people this, but she actually acted on it. She got her license and everything, and she got her first assignment. And it just happened to be in the office I was working in. And so she was kind of struggling. And with her numbers, they were really low. And I think it was about maybe 3 a day or 3 a week, something like that she was closing, claims that she was closing. And I said, listen, I got this book. And she said, oh, my gosh, you got the book? Oh, I want it. Give it to me now. And that's because, of course, like I said before, I had gone from being this novice adjuster who didn't know anything to now being this expert, and I'm the go-to person. So if I say I wrote a book, that's a pretty big deal for folks who know me, because they're like, oh, snap, we know Charleen. We know she's on point, so anything that she's bringing, I want some of that. So I told her, listen, I'll give it to you for free. All I want is that if it works for you, that you tell somebody else. And she read the book, and she went from closing, 3 claims a day to 8 claims a day.
Wow.
She ended up being one of the last people to be released from that store. And even after she got released, her team lead came to her and told her that he was proud of her, didn't think she was going to make it, and was so glad that she did. That is the kind of results that has come out of the book. And I love it. I love that I did it. I'm glad that, even though what they say, fear and trembling, I still did it anyway. I didn't even think that I could, but you know what? You never know what you can do unless you give it the good college try, right?
Absolutely.
And that's basically what I did. And that's why I love the book, and everything else generated out of that. So it's just a beautiful thing. And to go from writing you and telling you how to do stuff in writing to actually being able to stand in front of you and say, okay, do this, do that. That's what I love about our classes. And we come with so much passion in our classes. It's just absolutely incredible. Everybody who I've ever trained always says, I don't want anybody else to train me but you.
Yeah, well, I would guess
that
I would guess with the classes and the book together, they lend credence to each other. It's not, you're not just sitting behind a pen and feeding something to a person. You actually are in the classroom showing them exactly how to do it. And just like with the example that you just gave with the person who went from 3 to 8, you can actually show examples of results of people who have followed the program and has actually had some positive results that was a result of following it. Aint has Steppin
Right.
Marcus J live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. In closing, I want to have you tell us about the live event that you've got coming up here this spring. Tell us about that live event.
Yes, actually, it is called the Independent Adjuster Life Symposium. And what it is just a short 4-hour event that we do, and we're actually doing it on April the 2nd, which is a Saturday in St. Louis, Missouri. And I think it's from 9 to 1. And basically, it's just an opportunity for anyone who is just even curious about what is an adjuster, what is this all about, never heard of it, whatever the case may be, for you to come in and learn. That's all. It's free info that we're giving you. We have a panel of speakers who are adjusters as well, who basically that we pretty much brought into the industry, brought into this career path, and have mentored and helped them to get those deployments, and now they're hitting the ground and they're gone and they're running. And so you'll hear from them. You'll hear a little bit from us, from my business partner, which is Deborah Johnson, who's also my mother. Props out to anybody who does business with their family. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's basically what we do. And so our goal is we love this. I actually just read an article that Albuquerque Journal had released, and they talked about how what the median earning is of all these other careers that are out there versus the insurance industry careers. And what they were talking about was that it was about 16,000, the insurance industry careers, and we're talking about jobs like an actuary, an adjuster, an agent, that they make on median $16,000 above all the other industries. Why wouldn't you want to do this?
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So our goal is, and this is why we bring this to people, we want you to know about this opportunity. We know that there are jobs out there that exist that you don't really have to do a whole bunch of, you don't have to go to 4 years of college. There isn't a college degree program to be an insurance adjuster. There isn't a college degree program to be like an agent or an actuary or even an underwriter, right? So I think a lot of times college students or our younger generation doesn't know anything about it because they don't really get exposed to it. Our goal, in addition to just training those existing adjusters and getting you to increase your skill set once you get in, is just to get you in and get you attracted to it, because it's an awesome industry to go into. Your possibilities are truly limitless. You can do anything and everything you want to do. Think about it. Insurance is incorporated into every aspect of our life. You own a car, you need auto insurance. You own a home, you need homeowners insurance. We've got the whole thing with Obamacare. You can go into health insurance. You can go into even what they have medical claims billing. I mean, there's so many things that you can do that the possibilities are literally limitless. So why not just give it a try? I went to college. I got the political science degree. I went in student loans, $35,000 into debt. When I became an adjuster, I paid at that time $800 to become an adjuster. And I got that money back in my first 2 days.
Right.
Versus now versus now it's even less to get in, and you're still making that same amount. Yeah. I don't know of any other career that you can do that with. And then maybe who grows up and says, I want to be an adjuster for the rest of my life? Nobody says that, right? Nobody even knows that job exists. I want to be an adjuster. No, everybody wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, a sports star, a singer or an actor or whatever. But you know what? Maybe that's not where your true passion lies. It just happened to happen that way for me.
Right.
But use this as a means to an end. Right. Use this as a means. It's a very lucrative career. I don't want to go too much over numbers. You can go to my website and look more about it. But it's very lucrative for you. Right. Use that as a means to an end. What is your true passion? Are you a baker?
You know what you also have?
Your own bakery.
You know what you also have a future in? Motivational speaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because just in talking to you. No, I mean, honestly, in all seriousness, because there are a few things that I picked out that, that I kind of want to close with. One of them is, as a young person, you knew what you wanted to do with regards to owning a business. You may not have known what the business was going to be in, but you allowed your life path, I should say, to lead you towards you were supposed to be. One of our mottos here at Legacy Internet Radio is independence is the key to building your legacy. You are the epitome of that, because you decided to take control of what you were doing when you were working for someone else, and you said, you know what, I can do this on my own. My own independence is the key to building my legacy. That is what you said to yourself. And so I am definitely proud of you, our sister, for doing that. I also want to thank you for joining us here on Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J on Legacy Internet Radio. I got a question and a request that I'm going to throw at you. I didn't ask you about this before, so I'm going to put you on the spot live on the air. You ready for the question? You ready for the question?
I'm ready.
You ready for the question? All right. I want you to come back before the event in April. Can you do that?
I can do that.
Absolutely.
I can do that.
All right, good deal. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Hold the line for me. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna have some more of the show, and it's dynamic, and we appreciate you rocking with us. That's why we rolling with y'all. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.